In a development that has once again captured national attention, President Trump's latest maneuver to target a prominent legal figure has sparked intense scrutiny. The focus of this controversy centers on Norm, a seasoned legal voice whose security clearance has been repeatedly revoked by the administration. What might appear to be a straightforward administrative action is, in reality, part of a broader, symbolic campaign that reflects deeper tensions between executive power and the judiciary. Norm, known for his extensive legal experience and his willingness to confront actions he deems illegal or unconstitutional, has found himself at the center of this escalating power struggle. According to his account, the Trump administration has, on more than one occasion, declared the revocation of his security clearance. Yet, rather than producing any tangible consequences, these actions are portrayed as nothing more than symbolic gestures. Norm explains that the process is cyclical. The security clearance is removed only to be reinstated, only for it to be targeted once again. This repetitive cycle, he asserts, is a calculated move designed to intimidate rather than achieve substantive legal ends. At the heart of this saga is an executive order issued late on a recent Friday, a move that Norm and his legal team view as yet another attempt to undermine his authority. Despite the dramatic language used in the order, Norm quickly pointed out that it is essentially a political performance. The order purports to restrict his access to secure federal locations, yet the reality is far more benign. Norm notes that even the Pentagon and other secure federal facilities require an escort, rendering the order's provisions largely irrelevant. This discrepancy underscores a troubling pattern. While Trump's executive orders are steeped in aggressive rhetoric, they lack the concrete legal effect necessary to disrupt the established order. The symbolic nature of these executive orders is further highlighted by Norm's ongoing litigation efforts. Just this past Friday, his legal team filed another suit challenging what they characterize as the illegal destruction of the Voice of America, a vital international broadcaster relied upon for impartial news coverage. In parallel, Norm has spearheaded lawsuits to protect FBI agents from targeted actions by the administration. These legal battles are not isolated incidents, rather, they form part of a broader strategy to counteract policies and practices that undermine the integrity of government institutions. Trump's tactic, as articulated by Norm, involves a deliberate process of revoking and then symbolically reinstating his security clearance. The aim, it seems, is not to enforce any real policy change, but to send a message to his political base that he is taking decisive, if largely superficial, action against those who oppose him. This approach has, according to Norm, led to an ironic reversal. While Trump endeavors to project strength through his executive orders, his actions are steadily being countered in the courts. The legal front is proving to be particularly inhospitable for the administration. Several pivotal cases are now under appeal, with the government challenging significant rulings that have already been handed down in favor of Norm and his team. One of the most notable of these involves the reinstatement of over 20,000 probationary employees across multiple federal agencies. A judicial panel found that these dismissals were conducted unlawfully, citing that the Office of Personnel Management had exceeded its authority. This decision has not only restored the rights of these employees but also exposed the tenuous legal foundations of the administration's personnel policies. Another major legal victory centers on a case involving the gutting of USAID, a move that Norm's team has successfully argued as unconstitutional. In this instance, the administration's attempt to streamline or repurpose a critical agency was rebuffed by the courts, reaffirming that such drastic measures cannot be taken unilaterally without congressional authorization. The legal reasoning is clear. The Constitution sets definitive limits on the scope of executive power, and any attempt to circumvent these boundaries is subject to judicial review. The third significant case pertains to Susan Grundmann, the head of the Federal Labor Relations Authority. After being removed from her position, Grundmann successfully fought to regain her role, with the District of Columbia Court issuing an order for her reinstatement. This case is emblematic of the broader struggle within the legal system, as it pits the Trump administration's disruptive actions against the established principles of fair labor practices and governmental accountability. Norm anticipates that this matter, along with the other appeals, is likely to escalate to the Supreme Court, where the ultimate test of executive overreach may soon be on display. These legal battles reveal a stark contrast between the administration's reliance on executive orders and the concrete, court-sanctioned wins achieved by those challenging its authority. While Trump continues to issue orders that serve largely as political theater, meant to placate his supporters and create the illusion of decisive leadership, the legal process is unfolding in a manner that reinforces constitutional checks and balances. Norm's experience is a microcosm of this broader struggle. His repeated encounters with symbolic executive actions have been met with substantive judicial responses that dismantle the purported legal basis for such measures. A particularly contentious aspect of this saga is the reaction of various legal institutions and media organizations. Norm's pointed criticism of the law firm Paul Weiss, which he claims capitulated to the administration's pressures, has sparked considerable debate. He contrasts Paul Weiss's decision with the stances taken by other respected firms such as Covington and Burling, Perkins Coie, and Williams and Connolly, which have steadfastly opposed Trump's policies. This divergence in response is emblematic of a larger dilemma facing the legal profession: whether to yield to political expediency or to uphold the principle of judicial integrity even in the face of potential financial or reputational repercussions. Norm contends that Paul Weiss's decision to settle or withdraw from the legal fight represents a betrayal of the legal profession's core values. He argues that by bowing to pressure from an administration engaged in practices he deems illegal and unconstitutional, the firm not only undermines its own credibility but also weakens the broader resistance against authoritarian overreach. In contrast, firms that choose to continue the fight, regardless of the risks involved, are seen as champions of the rule of law, a stance that Norm believes will ultimately be vindicated by the courts. The debate extends beyond legal circles to touch on the responsibilities of media organizations as well. Prominent networks such as ABC News and CBS have been criticized for allegedly settling what Norm characterizes as frivolous lawsuits. Meanwhile, influential tech figures like Jeff Bezos and Mark Zuckerberg have faced similar accusations of capitulation. In Norm's view, these actions not only betray a lack of moral courage but also contribute to a culture of deference that ultimately empowers the very autocratic tendencies they purport to oppose. As the legal and political battles continue to unfold, the stakes for the Trump administration and for the integrity of the American legal system have never been higher. Norm's relentless pursuit of judicial recourse against what he describes as a series of overreaching and baseless executive actions serves as a potent reminder that no individual, regardless of political standing, is above the law. The administration's reliance on symbolic gestures, epitomized by the repetitive revocation of security clearances, is being systematically dismantled by a series of well-founded legal challenges that underscore the primacy of constitutional governance. In conclusion, the unfolding drama between President Trump and Norm is not merely a personal feud but a reflection of a deeper institutional struggle. The administration's strategy of issuing high-profile executive orders, designed more for optics than for effect, is being countered by a robust judicial system that is increasingly unwilling to tolerate blatant overreach. As pivotal cases head toward the Supreme Court, the outcome of these legal battles will have far-reaching implications for the balance of power within the federal government. The legal victories secured by Norm and his team stand as a testament to the enduring strength of constitutional checks and balances. They demonstrate that, despite the administration's attempts to consolidate power through symbolic acts of intimidation, the principles of due process and judicial review remain unassailable. In a time when the rule of law is under unprecedented pressure, the steadfast commitment of legal professionals and the institutions that support them provides a bulwark against the erosion of democratic norms. As the investigation continues, it is clear that the courtroom will serve as the ultimate arena in which these battles are fought. The series of appeals and challenges not only reinforce the limits of executive power but also affirm the enduring resilience of the nation's legal framework. In this context, every judicial win is more than a legal victory. It is a reaffirmation of the foundational principles upon which the country was built, a message that resonates far beyond the confines of any individual case. The narrative unfolding in the courts is a reminder that while political theater may capture headlines, it is the sober, measured actions of the judiciary that ultimately safeguard the integrity of the nation's institutions. Norm's ongoing fight, bolstered by a coalition of determined legal professionals, is a crucial part of this broader struggle. His story is one of resilience and principled defiance, a narrative that underscores the power of the law to confront even the most formidable challenges posed by those in positions of authority. In the final analysis, the repeated revocation of Norm's security clearance, while emblematic of the administration's attempts at theatrical intimidation, has inadvertently set the stage for a rigorous judicial review. As the legal challenges mount and the appeals process unfolds, the outcome will not only decide the fate of a single individual's access rights but will also serve as a defining moment in the ongoing contest between executive ambition and the imperatives of constitutional order. The determination and clarity of purpose exhibited by Norm and his legal allies offer a promising glimpse into a future where the law prevails over arbitrary power, reinforcing the bedrock principles of fairness, accountability, and the rule of law.